Now for the layout for the messages page, if we go to the deployed version, you can see we do not have any side columns here, side menu, and also we do not have any search column here. So we're going to remove that on the messages page. So for that, inside our layout.js, we are going to import our use router hook. And here we are going to initialize it. And here I'm going to create a variable messages router.pathname is equals to /messages. So what we are going to do is inside this grid, we have these columns. I'm going to cut it out up until this column right here, closing tag for column and cut. And inside this, we are going to check if not messages route. We are going to show this JSX and paste. But if it is messages route, let's add some fragments. Here we're going to show two columns, grid dot column. The first one is going to be floated left. The width of this column is going to be 1. And another one we are going to render out the children inside this column. This one is going to have a width of 15. And inside this, we are going to render out the children. So now if I go to my localhost server, let it refresh and click on messages. Oh, I forgot to add the route inside the app.js. So make sure you do that. Context.pathname is equals to /messages. So now if I go back and refresh. So now let's start working on the layout for the messages page. Inside this, we are going to first of all import some components from Semantic UI React. We are going to need segment, header, divider, comment, grid, and icon. And after this, we are going to import chat list. We are going to create this component in just a second. It is going to be inside components /chats and chat list. Also, we're going to import chat list search. From again, the route is going to be components /chats and chat list search. And also we're going to import use router from next/router. And also we're going to import a file from no data, components, layout, and no data. So it is no messages. So again, this is just a message which will tell the user that there are no messages. And now inside the components, let's create these components, chat list and chat list search. And inside this, chat list.js. And now inside this function, I'm going to initialize the hook. And for the return statement, let's remove this div, add parentheses. And here we are going to have a segment. And for the segment, we are going to have a padded prop, basic, and the size is going to be large. We are going to have a style object on this. Margin top is going to be 5 pixels. And inside this segment, we are going to have a header. It is going to have an icon of home. Content is going to be go back. And it is going to have an on click. So when the user clicks on this, we are going to route the user back to the home page. Router.push home page. And we are going to have a style object on this. Cursor pointer, so that the user knows it is clickable. And after this header, we are going to have a divider. It is going to have a hidden prop. And after this divider, we are going to have a div. We are going to have a style object on this. Margin bottom is going to be 10 pixels. And inside this div, we are going to have a chat list search component, and we are going to pass in the user state. So let's receive this inside the props. The logged in user state. We are going to pass in the chats. And also we're going to pass in the set chats function. And now after this div, we are going to check if chats.length is greater than 0. We are going to return some JSX. Otherwise, we are going to return the component no messages. And now inside this, if there are chats, we are going to return a grid. It is going to have a stackable prop. And inside this grid, we are going to have columns, grid.column. Width is going to be 4. We are going to have a component comment.group. The size is going to be big. Inside this, we're going to have a segment. Raised. Style is going to be overflow auto. And max height is going to be 32 rem. And inside this segment, we're going to map over the chats. So chats.map chat. And we are going to return our chat list. And we are going to pass in some props inside this chat list. First of all, let's give it a key. I am going to give it as index. So let's receive index here. And after this, we are going to pass in the chat. And also we are going to pass in the set chats function. And save. Now inside the chat list, first of all, let's import some components from semantic UI React. We are going to import divider, comment, icon, and also the list. And also we're going to import use router and our calculate time function. And inside this, we are going to receive chat, set chats function, and let's initialize the hook, const router, use router. You know what? I'm going to rename it as chat. So this will, because we are mapping over it, so it makes more sense to rename it as chat. So one chat. And here I'm going to change it to chat. And also here, chat. And from this return statement, let's add fragments here. We are going to have a list, selection, list.item. And it is going to have an active prop. So router.query.message is equals to chat.messagesWith. So I'm going to explain it in just a second. First, let me write all the props here. After this, we're going to have an onClick. It is going to be a function, router.push/messages. And we're going to add a query string here. Message is equals to chat.messagesWith, undefined, and we are going to have a shallow of true. So if we go to the deployed version, when I click on any chat, make sure to keep an eye on this URL bar right here. If I click on a chat, we are changing the ID here. So /messages, we have the route. We are adding a query string. Message is equals to the ID of the user. So if I click on this one, the ID changes. So we are adding the query string $message is equals to the ID of the user. So here we are checking if router.query.message is equals to chat.messagesWith. So if you go to the API route, we are sending this messagesWith property. So we are comparing it with the router.query.message. So if it is equal, we are going to set the active to true. So this will basically highlight the chat here to tell the user that yeah, this is the active chat. And for this on click, I have added router.push slash messages question mark message is equals to chat.messages with, and I've added undefined and an object here shallow with the true. So if you go to the documentation for the next router, you can see right here, the first argument is the URL to navigate to. The second argument is the as. So this will mask the URL for the browser, optional decorator for the URL that will be shown in the browser. And after this, we have the options. It is an object. Inside this, we have a shallow property. So this will basically update the path of the current page without rerunning. So this will basically make the change inside the browser without rerunning the page. And now inside this list.item, we are going to have comment.avatar. The source is going to be chat.profilepic URL. After this, we are going to have comment.content, comment.author as a anchor tag. Inside this, we are going to have chat.name. So this is going to be the name of the user with whom we have chat. And after this, we are going to have comment.metadata. So inside this metadata, we are going to call our calculate time function and pass in the date of the chat. So chat.date. And after this, we are going to have a div. So inside this div, we are going to have an icon for deleting the chat. Position is going to be absolute. Right 10 pixels. And the cursor is going to be pointer. And now inside this div, we are going to have an icon. The name of this icon is going to be trash alternate. The color is going to be red. And we are going to have an on click on this icon. We are going to create this function after we have finished the layout. And now after this metadata, we are going to have comment.text. So here we are going to check if chat.lastMessage.length, if it is greater than 20. If it is greater than 20, the length, we are going to use the substring. So chat.lastMessage.substring 0 and end number is going to be 20. And after this, we are going to add this triple dots. We are going to add these dots. So else, if it is less than 20, we are going to show chat.lastMessage and save. So when you're using any social media app like Instagram or WhatsApp, in the list of the messages, you're only shown a preview of the message if it is bigger than some characters. So we are checking if it is greater than 20 characters. We are going to use the substring method and add these 3 dots at the end of the message. So if a message is greater than 20 characters, it will be cut off after 20 and these dots will be added. Otherwise, we are going to show this chat.lastMessage. And at the end of this list, we are going to add a divider, and we are not going to add the hidden prop on this. So now if we go to our localhost and refresh, so now you can see we are being shown the chat, the list is here, and chat list search we are going to create inside the next video, and we are being shown the icon. And if I click on this, the URL changes and a query string is added. Message is equals to the ID of the user. So when a user visits the messages page, what we are going to do is redirect the user to the first chat automatically. So for that, we are going to use useEffect. Inside useEffect, and it is going to be on mount if chats.length is greater than 0. So if chats are there, router.push slash messages question mark message query string, and inside this we are going to select chats, add in square brackets 0 first element dot messages with undefined and add the shallow to true. So now if I refresh, so now you can see we are automatically redirected to the first chat. And if I remove this query string from the URL and go to this route, again when the component mounts, it is automatically redirected to the first chat. So now in the next video, we are going to start working on this chat list search. So I will see you there.